Lori was distracting me. It was entirely Lori. And that's the story I have for why I'm 3 minutes off our start time. I'm just going to... and last week it was Stephanie. Then that's why I started 3 minutes late, was because of Stephanie. So it's so easy to pin it on somebody else. It's so easy. And we can start doing that when we're very, very small. I caught myself, we'll put it bluntly, I caught myself this past week lying to my business coach that every second matters. It's like talking to your lawyer. You're throwing bills as fast as you can, and you're trying to get information at the same time. It's high stakes, and it's phenomenal, and she is changing my everything. And so in that position of authority, I responded to her like my father. And in that, you just kind of grease the wheels a little bit. Oh, I don't know where that was. I didn't see that email. And I said, I'm so sorry. I absolutely saw it, and I didn't reply. Like I saw it, and I caught it, and I made amends. And it just woke me up to what are the little ways in which we betray our alignment, just to make it easier. And so she worked with me for half an hour on that little exchange, and it's a means of safety. I'm scared. I did something wrong. I'm not sure what the consequence will be. It's better just not to face it. It's better to duck. And it becomes a habit. And it becomes, this space is now blocked because it's not what I was thinking and what I'm here to do. My head got scared and made a solution by itself, and my heart went, oh, that's not true. And now every interaction starts to have a little bit of a question in it. And if I'm questioning me, then when you talk to me, I'm going to question you. So clear that out. Notice when you are creating the subtlest, slipperiest little, oh, it wasn't me. And just own it. And in the owning, you're going to be so much stronger. Because in the not owning, you're going to put it in your body. And you're going to drop back towards your spine. And you're going to protect yourself a little bit more. And in that, you're going to strengthen this shape. This is very vulnerable. Yep. I saw the email. And by the way, I can't find it anywhere. And by the way, I need you to send it again. It's okay. Take the consequence, whatever it is. But when I lie about it and when I create some strange little other story, I am distorting my alignment. And I am distorting my ability to express fully in the strangest of ways. So we want to open this space. And it starts with that hook down in the belly that we worked last time. So we're going to come back to that. As if somebody was holding the inner edge of your pelvis and they were lifting it up. And as you do that, you can feel your shoulder blades come back, your chest comes open, your voice gets clearer. So lift from here, and this is our space. We will start standing just to shake out a little bit. If you have only half an hour, we'll look for a little half-hour sequence to warm you up. So the feet start, knees are loose, hips are loose, and the hands swing. And right again, right there, just start to let the breath change on its own. And it might get bigger and it might get looser, and that's the breath you've been holding just in case. What if it goes wrong? What if I'm late? What will they think? Let your breathing get bigger. Swing across the arms, forward and back. Using your legs, using your feet to move through your chest. And then the arms will go wide and cross across the center. Oh, just feeling, how do we hold the front body closed? How does the rest of you want to move? The legs, the thighs, the knees, the heart. We're going to go back to the way we began. So forward and cross. Just notice a little change, a little more space. 3, 2, good. Palms face down, elbows are bent, hips take it over. So it's as though it's a big slow motion hula hoop. And see if you can feel that you can be moving your heart from your hips. So anything that's still caught or congested in the upper back, you can close your eyes so that no one can see you, right? And then you can go anywhere you need to. Across the fronts of your hips, down into your belly button, down into the soles of your feet, and reverse that circle. And just become a little more fluid. Shift states from a solid to a liquid. And notice one direction might be easy, and one direction might be really sort of oddly triangular and lurchy. You just smooth it out, going for 3. Right through the belly, right into the breath, right through the diaphragm for 2. Good. And at the top of your mat, just sweep your hands up high, keep your knees very soft, slide down the backs of your legs as you drop, slide back up as you reach up. We'll go 4 of those, knees soft, head heavy, folding down, rising up. Let it be steady, let it be smooth. And go 1 more time. So that when you put your fingertips down, you can step your feet back. You can add a block underneath your knees. We just keep that momentum from those big joint circles. We just keep the momentum, bringing it into your spine, tail back. And begin to flush out the breath, flush out the spine. So the knees are under your hips, the feet are in line with the kneecaps, the hands are in line with the knees, the hands are in line with the shoulders. So you just allow yourself to come into a little bit more as though you were a professional cat-cower, right? You didn't just show up sloppy. Now you're starting to make a little organization. Turn your thumbs forward and your fingers out. Try to pull your hands apart. So your thumbs point forward, my right fingers point right, my left fingers point left. A little more space under the heart. Work there, turn your right fingers back, opening your right palm. Turn your left fingers forward. So my right fingers are back, my left are forward, and I'm moving through the right wrist, right forearm, up into the right side, jaw and ear. Keep the spine moving. And then change your hands, right fingers forward, left fingers back. And keep the spine moving, because the spine moving is helping the breath. And the breath is carrying the tension out of you and the light into you. Through the left palm, elbow, the shoulder, the jaw, the ear. Good. Turn your thumbs forward, turn your fingers away, put the heels of your hands together and circle around your hands. So the spine can round, the head can move wherever you need to go. Keep that circle through the shoulder, through the jaw, through the head. So that the old habit of how we hold ourselves together can begin to have some mobility. I know the structure of myself from inside to the point of blindness. Reverse your circle. I'm so familiar with how I hold my body that I can't see that there's an alternative. So in these circles, we start to find there is so much more space and possibility. 3. Roll it around. 2. New territory. Good. And center. Knees wide, toes together, arms out long. Settle back and feel the quiet, but the length from the heart to your shoulders to your elbow, elbow to finger. Come onto your fingertips. Lift the palms off the floor. Lift the wrists. Lift the forearms. Drop your head. And now let your hips wash side to 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 side. Dropping your seat back, dropping your fingertips forward and letting the movement side to side drop you further. Bringing your ribs in between your thighs for 3, for 2, for 1. And hands and knees, bring it up. Broad collarbones, tuck your toes, down dog, take it back. Drop your head. We flow, hands, knees, looking forward. Child's pose, drawing back. Inhale, hands, knees. Exhale, down dog. 3 more, your pace, your body, your breath. Imagine that there is a hook that's lifting you by the back of your belt to lift your hips a little higher. 1 more and we'll meet in a dog and we'll walk the dog. Let your head turn. Let your hips move side to side. So we're still creating these spaces, this fluidity, this mobility. Come onto the balls of your feet. Now circle your hips. Your knees can be different. One moves and then the other. Circle your hips. Use your spine. Use your hands as much as you need to. Get into the territory that is unfamiliar. Get into the gesture that's unfamiliar. Reverse your circle. Reverse your jaw. Find center and step your right foot up. Put your left knee to the floor. Now, if you need to, blocks can come under your fingertips. And you fit your right knee into your armpit. So if I need to, I have hands on blocks. Otherwise, I have fingertips on the floor. So let the hips a little forward and a little back, a little forward and a little back. Use your back toe. And when we first come up, there's a rounding and the navel is drawn into the body. And I want you to imagine that hook on the front of your pelvis and it's drawing your pelvis forward. And as your pelvis comes forward, your heart comes up. And as your heart comes up, your chest is broadened. Use your right knee in your armpit. And feel your breath lifted into the fronts of your lungs. Feel the underside of your throat, the point of your chin, the point of your nose drawn forward. Good. And step it back into downward facing dog. Feel the right hand, right hip. Walk your feet a slight step forward. Take your right hand towards the center line. Take your left hand to the mid-back. So place your left hand on your sacrum. And as though adjusting your dog, pressing your sacrum back, your right hand down, your hips high. Feel breath from the right hand to the right shoulder, to the right hip, to the right heel. Put your left hand down beside your right, both near center line. Right hand to the sacrum, send it back. Adjust your seat higher. Lengthen your spine, drop your head, left hand down and away. And 2 hands down, step your left foot up. Put your right knee down, hands to blocks, wide and forward or fingertips to the floor. Good, come a little forward, come a little back. Let your hips rock side to side. Make some space until you can feel the pubic bone draws forward. And as the pubic bone draws forward, the heart comes up, the shoulders draw back, the chest is broad. You can drop your jaw open, you can open your eyes. Feel into the very outer edges, the periphery of your vision. And feel the upper aspect and the lower aspect of your vision. As you open this space, you see further forward. You start to change your future. Bring your breath into the fronts of your lungs. Hook the base of the navel, lift up and through. And then stepping back, find your dog. Again, left hand towards center, feet slightly closer. Right hand to your sacrum. Pause, drop your head, lengthen your spine. Right hand down.
Left hand to sacrum, press back. Knees are soft, spine is long. How can you use your left hand to make more space, more length in the bones of your back? And now left hand down and right hand to sacrum, and right hand down and left hand back. So you're just going to alternate. Just tap and tap. Can you keep your hips square, and can you keep your shoulders square? Can you look straight down or even look slightly ahead towards where your thumbs would meet on your mat? Tap, change, tap, change. Put more weight in your legs. 3, 2, 1. Dog, be still. Let your armpits float open. Let your elbows lengthen. Good. Good. Knees down. Right hand goes back. And then you sweep your right hand over the top. And you land your right hand on your left as you fold your hips back. Right? Rise up, hands, knees. Sweep your right hand back. Start to open through the right rib, open through the right shoulder, open through the right hip, right hand on left, fold back. At first it will be sticky. Rise up, right hand. Bring it through the hip, through the jaw. Start to turn your head and bring it down. And rise and roll open and roll back. Rolling open and rolling back. One more like that. And down. Good. So the right hip, right shoulder, right hand, all very long. A little bit side to side as you settle in. And the right hand beside the left. So now, as you rise, take your left hand back. And it'll be sticky to start, so take your time. Taking your left hand up and overhead. Left hand on top of right. Hips going back. Good. Rise up and find that circle. And start to explore. So this is the side body that we can find the front and the back. We can find the top and the bottom. And here is the circle to find the side. Through the ribs, through the hip, through the jaw and the shoulder. One more. Left on right. Now just a little side to side through the hips. And see if you can find the left side waist. The sides of your ribs. Good. You may repeat that if needed, or rising up, tuck your toes, find plank. Bend your knees, pull back to dog. Press to plank. Pull to dog. So it's a big bend in your knees and you're pressing out of your feet and you begin to look forward. And as you come forward, you begin to get a little bit brighter. You're moving through it all. If it's too much, you can go from your child's pose to hands and knees. We'll go 3. We're going to go 2. And then pause in your plank. Ready? Strong plank. Reach your right hand back. Reach it up. Look it up. Bring it over, right hand down beside left. Plank. Take your left hand back. Reach up, look up. Plank. So you see where we're going. If you need to, hands and knees, make the circle that we did. If you can hold your plank, circle your plank. Both are simply to the purpose of opening from your hip all the way to your hand. Can you keep your hips square? We go 2 more each side, all the way out of the hips, all the way through the throat, all the way into the hands. 1 more each side, as though you were swimming, opening the collarbones, downward facing dog. Wag your tail, hip side to side. There is more space, there is more option, there is more nuance than you may know. Step your right foot up, put your left knee down, take your hands up high, and then let them fall as you shift your weight back. 3, be done. Rise. Just swinging open and close, starting to put the pieces together, moving in and out. Good. Hands up high, front knee bends, and hands down, stepping the left foot up.
Slide up the backs of your legs, sweep wide, reach tall.
Good. Knees bend, slow it down, folding down, right foot back, right knee down, hands swing up high. We come forward. Hands drop down, we shift back, let it go. So let the work of the arms that you just did, let it just swing out of your body. Let it swing out of your breathing. One more. Smooth it out. Pausing tall. Hands down, stepping back, downward facing dog. Right foot steps up, left knee down. Hands high, rising. And hands down, stepping up. Arms wide, thumbs up, sit down, heart up, stand up. Pause, palms together, thumbs down the back. Little wag side to side. Elbows in, elbows up. And we'll go, hands up, knees bent, hands wide, folding down. Left foot back, left knee down, hands up high. Inhale, opening. Palms down the back. Hands up high, look up. And fold, step back, down dog. Take your time. Left foot steps up, right knee down. Hands high, down the back. And up. And step up. Arms wide, sit down, thumbs up, float up tall. Palms together, elbows in. Reach up, release. And knees bend, folding down. Right foot back, right knee down. Sweep up. Palms together, down the back. And up, look up. And down, step back, down dog. Right foot steps up, left knee down. Hands high. Down the back, take your time. And reach up. Oh, set down, step up. Sweep wide, unfold, stay here. Good. Interlace your fingers, press straight up. Little wriggle. Drop your shoulders, turn your chin, widen your feet so they're hip distance. And as you press the thumb side of your hands up, the backs of your shoulders go down. So let your knees be soft for a moment and just bring the thumb side up, turning the pinkies back, which gathers the shoulder blades down the back. Bring your ribs in, bring your chin in, ribs back, chin back. So keeping the left heel of your hand up, 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 up. Send your left hip forward and now bend to the right. So that when I come forward, I'm sending my left hip, and this is opening from my thigh all the way, and then I reach over to the right. And I come upright, and I take the right heel of hand up. And if I were to fold left now, my right hip would drop back. So send your hip forward, forward, and then go to the left. Good, so that the whole front of the thigh to the low ribs is beginning to lengthen. And then come upright, sweep your hands wide and down. And notice, we want from the ribs to the thighs to be able to come a little forward. So hands to your hips. Your thumbs point down behind you. Heels are heavy, knees a little soft. Draw your shoulders up, back, down. Draw your elbows in. And using your hands, send both hips a little forward. Let it wag. Left hip, right hip, left hip. Hips are coming forward, but my gaze is forward and my low back is long. Elbows are drawn in, so that I'm taking that length from the fronts of my thighs to my low ribs. Now, as if I was in this posture, I would be on my hands and I would be in fish in Matsuyasana. So see if you can let your head fall back a little bit and use your hands to send your hips forward. Stay long in the low back, and now widen your gaze out into the edges of the corners of your eyes And then look up through the crown of your head to come out. Bring your hips back. And it'll draw your heart up. And you'll rest the crown of your head over your heart. Turn your palms forward. So this is a container of light, and we want to keep stirring, keep making order and unorder, disorder, reorder, so there's light. Folding down, step your feet back, find your dog. Walk both feet to the left side. Cross your left foot in front of your right. So a high plank. Then really fight to get your feet to the floor. Fit your right knee into the armpit of your left knee. Yeah, good. And then down dog. So there's that little bend in the knees, and then there's the pressing out. And there's a little bend in the knees, and there's the pressing out. And can you look forward and take the light you just made and keep drawing it up and through you? One more. So that when you come to plank, you put your knees down and you widen your feet. Good. Turn your thumbs forward. Ready? Circle your hips. Circle your hips like you're stirring a pot. So you're as round and as full in that circle as you can. And it involves the spine. It involves the cat-cow that you started with. It is absolutely rearranging your furniture. Yes. Let your head move and go quickly like you would whisk a meringue. And let the breath go anywhere it needs to. Let the shoulders loosen and stay with it. You're going to generate a little bit of heat. And you're going into the new territory. You're going further. You're going further than you want to. Ready? Reverse your direction. Reverse your direction. And you are circling and you're loosening. And in that loosening, I loosen and I find little pockets of being cranky. And then I find little pockets of being really happy. And then I find little pockets of being quite unhappy. Keep moving it out, right? And you get a little impatient, you get a little hot. 3, 2, good. Pause, widen your feet. Turn your fingers forward as you fold back. Now settle into the heat of your hips. Good. The inhale, you rise up tall, broadening. Look forward. Exhale, fold back. Fold, fold, fold. Empty it all. And go one more time like that. Good. And fold back for 3. Softening through the outer hips as you soften through your expression. Ama in Sanskrit is that which is unfinished, that which is disordered or simply in a state that has not been given order. It is emotional indigestion. And we hold ama, that which is unfinished, in our hips, in the outer hip, in the inner hip. It affects the way we walk, the way we sit, the way we sleep. On the exhale, soften your inner thighs. Drop your head a little more. And rising up. Tuck your toes, lift your hips. So your left is in front of your right, which means you will walk your hands to the right, to the right, to the right, to the right, spin to face the back of your mat, hold opposite elbows, knees are bent. Lori, go to the left. Go to the left. You can do it. So your left is in front of your right. Just walk your hands off your mat to the right. Yep. Go, 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 go. Spin, spin, spin. Yes! Hold opposite elbows. It's like a disco trick. Yeah, it's really important to make your brain do the things that your body can't understand. Okay, now fingers to the floor. Keep going. Walk your hands to the right. Keep going, keep going. Turn on your feet. Now your right will be in front of your left. Keep going, hands forward. hands forwarder to plank, to bend. I know. And your body's saying, what? And your brain is saying, And so we move into new territory. Cognitively, there are more solutions. There are more possibilities. Beautiful. Put your knees down. Put your right in front of your left. Widen your feet. Wouldn't it be great to fold back? Circle. Circle. And now circle with a real kindness, a pliability. Can you float into that circle? Is it quick? Is it slow? This is yours. So find your circle. Find all the ways that you think you can or cannot move and investigate. Let it change. Let it change. And maybe it loosens and maybe you quicken and you find a little bit of a whip through the hips. That little tension you hold in your low back, maybe you can just let it out. And then reverse your direction. Because the way we hold the shoulders is related to the way we hold our hips. The way we hold our truth is related to what is unfinished and undigested within us. Feet wide, sit your hips back, go towards child, doesn't have to go far. That's your breath out on your inhale, return. In the return, open like a sponge that has been released, and then fold back like a sponge that is being squeezed, emptied. And then refill, make space, make an opening. How long as you fold back, how long can you stay open? Stay open through the face, stay open through the hips, stay back, stay open in the breath. Breathing all the way to the outer edges of your hips. Let your breathing meet that which feels unfinished. If I would lie to my father because I was afraid of what he would say, that is unfinished. We lie because we don't know or we're afraid, and that is unfinished. When we meet truth with truth, we are clear. Rise up. Tuck your toes. Now, go left. Walk your hands left. Spin on your feet. Face the back. You gotta go back. Good. Hold opposite elbows, knees bent. I hear you, man. Little side to side. Good. Turn on your feet. Turn your hands. As you step your hands forward, uncross your feet. There's your down dog. There's your down dog. Drop your head. And we've made a little space through the inner and outer hip. Made a little space through the outer seat. Made space through the length of your arms. So into that space, return. Take your blanket, fold it in half. And turn it so that the fold, the thickest fold of your blanket is facing front of the mat. Step your heels onto that. Bend your knees, bring your palms together. See if you can sit yourself down inside. And as you come to stand, turn your right palm to face forward, and your left hand will hold your right wrist, right? That will lead you up and over to the left. Palms together, sit back down. Good. Widen your feet. Left hand forward, right hand holds your left wrist. Go up and go right. So lift that left hip forward and bring it down. So exactly what we did standing previously. As you come up, send your hip forward. As you come up and down, send the hip forward. 2 more. Up and out, back and down. 1 more. Good. Bring it down. Put your fingertips to the floor. Widen your feet. Soften your knees. Resting your toes wide on the floor. So most of the weight is in your feet, in your heels. Lift your hips. Now that hook in your pelvis, let it help you to look forward. Tail goes back. Hook of the hip. Left hand, float it underneath your chest. You're on your fingertips. Right hand to your sacrum. Sacrum goes back. Now I'm nearly weightless in my left fingers. Widen your seat. Take your seat back so that there's more space. Now sweep your right hand up and over. Good. Right fingertips to the floor. Left hand to the sacrum. Take it back. Look forward. Deepen the crease of your hips. Turn your ribs. Turn your navel. Take it up and over. One more each side. Right hand. Put on your spine. Put on the low back. Take it back. Turn your ribs. Turn your gaze. Take your right hand up over. Awesome. You. Bend your knees. Laurie. Left hand back. Tail back. Knees bend. Left hand up over. Good, good. Left hand down. Swing your right hand wide and open. Right hand down. Left hand wide and open. Super simple. So begin to move. Weight in your feet. And you're spinning side to side. Exhale at the top. Inhale as you change. And you're turning your navel right and left. For 5. Yeah. What happens if you let go of the floor and arms are wide? 3. Good. 2. Good. 1. Dog. And just be still. There's only one more dog after this. Notice. Let your hips come up higher. Let your arms go out long. Feel the space in your throat. Good. Walk your feet to your hands. Get your strap along the way. And as you have your strap and you have your feet there, 2 fists fit between your feet. Have your strap. Bring yourself upright. So because of all the folding, there's a residual fold. There's a little bit of a right? So hands go behind you. Hold the strap and let your hips come a little forward. And you'll feel your low back will release. Little wag of the tail. Anytime you need to, that slow hula. We're going to take the strap all the way up and over. Good. That we could take the pressure of the work of our hips and low back here and now open the shoulders and feel the hips and low back sort of depressurize. We open the valve of the chest and the shoulders, let your hips move. Let your breathing bring the tension of your hips all the way up, out through the hands, through the breath, through the throat. Good. Get a little round as you come forward. And then send your hips high and forward, your chest broad as you go back. And we're going to circle that. So we'll meet with the hands out, go to the left, and bring your right hand over the left and come up over the top, and then the left hand comes across the front. So I bend my knees, I take my tail back to flatten that circle. I'm opening through the chest and the throat, all the way across the body, all the way under the jaw. One more. Good. So that we can reverse. The left hand goes across the top. The right hand sweeps across the front. And we go over and around. Excellent. Good, 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 good. And one more. Hands wide and down the back. Down the back. Feet just wider than hip distance. Turn your palms to face back. Broaden your collarbones. Heels long, toes long. Settling the shoulder blades towards the spine. That little hook in the pelvis coming up. Up under the jaw. Put everything together. No rush. As you sit your tail back, you lead with your heart. Your knees bend. So you've got a little buoyancy, a little action in the legs. Lift your hips, take your hands over the top. A little bit side to side. Shake out your head. Feel the back of your neck. Find some length. Find center. Toes are long. Hands down to your hips, sit down, lead with your heart, stand tall. This is inhale. Knees bend, hands overhead, folding down. Inhale here. Exhale, hands down, knees bend. Inhale, stand tall. Just move it through you. Bending, exhale. Hands overhead, inhale, hips up, head down. Deeper bend, exhale, drop down. Heart up, inhale. Exhale. You're flushing prana, life force, energy body through you. And one more, going up and going down. Good. Folding, hips up, head down. And rising tall. And pause right there. Good. Step your right foot wide and turn to the right side of your mat. Keep your strap. Toes lightly in, legs long. Put a little bend in your knees. Take your tail back. Take your hands overhead and fold. So the hips come up high without locking the knees. A little bend in the right knee takes you to the right. A little bend in the left knee takes you left. And as you move from side to side, just explore how that opens the inner thigh, the inner arm. Good. Finding center. Bend your knees, drop your seat, drop your hands, lift your heart, standing tall. Pivot your left foot to face forward. Keep your right foot turned out. So any adjustment that you need. Bend your left knee. So now I have these warrior one legs. My hips are square, my back leg is down, my heart is high. Lift your hands and fold towards the left thigh. Bringing the belly over your thigh, drop your head, reach your hands over, good. Drop your hands to lift your heart, to lift your gaze, to stand up tall. Square your hips. So straightening the front leg allows me to bring my right hip a little more forward. Lift your hands. Lift the back thigh, bend the left knee. Keep the back thigh lifted, belly to thigh, hands overhead. Really beginning to lift the back thigh. Feel the arch of your right foot. Let it lift. Keep the back thigh lifted, hands down, lead with your heart, standing one more time, square the hips. Lift the back thigh. Keep all the length you are making through the right side body. Bend your left knee, chest broad, hands overhead, folding down. Good, good, good. Hands to your hips, look forward, leading up. Find the center. Pause, wag your tail. Wag your tail. Loosen it. Wag your tail more. Wag your tail more. Until it loosens your neck and it loosens your jaw. All the ways that we hold. And we'll pivot the right foot to point back. We'll set your left heel back. Your heels are in two lines. Square your hips. And my left hip is not wanting to come. So give it time. Lift your hands. Bend your right knee. Hinge and fold down. From your left heel, your back heel, drop your hands down and lift up. Square the front leg. Turn your navel right. Lift your left thigh. From there, bend the right. Fold down. Hands overhead. Keep wrapping your navel to the right. Good. And then rise up. If you've made space in the shoulders and you need to, narrow your strap. Lift your left thigh. Open the left hip forward. Just like we've done standing, left hip forward. Keep that, bend your right knee. Lift your left thigh. Now give it all your attention. This last time down, lift the left thigh. Left foot is heavy. Hips towards the left. Dropping your head. Drop your hands to your hips to lift your heart, to lift your gaze, standing tall. Release the strap, wag your tail. Wag your tail. So facing forward, palms face down, knees bend, circle your hips. With your feet wide, it's a different thing.
It's super sticky to me. It's super sticky. And reverse your direction. Good, 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 good. One more. And then stepping up to the top, we'll come to sit down on that folded blanket. Soles of your feet together, just a little bit of a big internal work of your hips. So hook that point of your inner pelvis and it lifts up and your chest comes up, because this is super tempting. This is super tempting. And I want you to draw your navel forward, keep sending your hips forward to lift your heart, even with your knees wide, and just let it shake out of you. You're getting a little taller, you're getting a little looser, you're getting a little taller. Keep bringing it up through the throat, bring it up under the tongue, up, up, up into the very roofs of your eye sockets. Use the hands on the shins or the ankles to bring yourself a little forward, your elbows back. Loosening the inner thighs. So the way we hold the chest is very much related to how we're holding on to the hips, and how we hold the hips is how we're holding on to what is unfinished within us. Now sit still. The heart floats up. The shoulder blades gathering in. So the next move is sometimes easier with this double fold of your blanket, and sometimes you need to unfold it into something a little lower. It's up to you. We're going to put the right knee down and the left heel forward. Super simple. Yeah, right. I hear you. There's eye rolling here. So if you're rolling your eyes, that's fantastic. Send your right inner knee down to send your right hip a little forward. There we go. Ha. Whew. So let it go. Sit it back. Good. Roll it forward. Holy moly, right? Drop it back. Sit your hip down. Send your hip forward. Now if you like, add your right hand goes back. And then your right hand reaches up and out. And then bring your elbow to your ribs. Drop your hip down. Find that. And then reach out by pressing your right knee down. Spin a little further. And then bring your elbow down. Sit your right hip down. One more time. Press your right knee down. Press your right hip forward. Come up, out. Come up, out. If it feels okay, anchor your left shin down. Press your right knee so much you lift off both hips. Reach forward. Now sit your left hip down. And then lift your hips up off the mat. One more. Sit down. Press your right knee down. Press your left shin down. Rising. Only the right elbow down. As you reach up, look up under your armpit. Bend your elbow to your rib. Look down to your left shoulder. And as you reach up and out, look up under the right shoulder. Stay 2. And sit down. Good. Feet flat. Pause a beat. That's a big change. Feet out. Shake your feet side to side and your knees up and down. Good. Bend your right knee. Left hand to your outer right foot. Yeah. Right hand behind you. Sitting tall. So again, there's a tendency to crumple. Sit tall. Lift your heel. Yeah. Now press your leg out. Good. Bend your knee. Turn your navel right. Good. Press out. Sit tall. So as you bend, you have a little more space to turn right. And then as you straighten, look to the right side of your mat. As you bend, look towards the back shoulder. As you straighten, good. And you keep this going. And what you're doing is you're rinsing from the navel to the right side waist, right side hip, Start to feel it into the ribs and the lungs. Go 3. Yes. 2. Keep turning your navel. Now, when you extend your legs, stay. Sit very tall. Reach your right hand straight back. Turn your thumb up. Turn through the navel, turn through the heart, turn through the chest. And center. Now, can you remember how we got here? Put your left inner knee down. Put your right knee wide. If you went the other way, go the other way. You'll know where you didn't go. Good. So, hip up. Send your left hip forward and drop your left hip back and down. Right? You got to find your little spot. Yep. Forward, opening that and sitting it back. So bring your heels a little more to a right angle. That's it, Lord. And then sit it. Yeah. Oh, you found your... There'll be the place where you're really... Fold it back. Fold like someone's drawing your hip back. And then someone's drawing your hip forward. Right? You can add your arm, reaching your right. Left hand comes up overhead. Left elbow to rib, sitting back. Rolling the hip forward. Coming up out of the left hip, up out of the left waist. Turning your chin. Maybe you can see your foot behind you. Go one more. Good, so we know now if you press the left knee down, press the right shin down, you can lift up and out. Hips off the mat. And then sitting back down, elbow to rib. Good. So reaching up and out. And back down. 2 more. And the next time you go, keep that lift. Sitting up good. Hips forward. Now only the elbow. When you bring your elbow down, look down. As you reach your left hand up, look up. And look down. So you're taking this opening from the left inner knee across the front of the left hip up into the diaphragm of the left side. Now stay looking up, chest is broad, hook the pelvis, heart comes high, little back bend. And sitting down. Legs out, shake out your feet, shake out your knees. Can you, all of that is connected up under the throat. Crazy. So, I'm seated on the edge of my blanket, which gives my hips a little bit of a height over my heels. If you need to, knees are bent. Right hand will hold the outer left heel. Left hand goes back, lifting your heel. As you press out, you're revolving. Turn your navel left. Through the right side of your spine, set yourself up, and you begin to bend and press. Bend and press. And as you do, you begin to feel that you can find a little more rotation, as though you were pressing your heel into a wall. You can turn your navel left. And as you turn your navel left, you're getting space along the right side of your spine. The outer left hip, turn your navel, turn your heart, sit up tall, go one more. And as you press into the left heel, turn your navel left, take your left hand straight back, thumb points up, chest up. Sit down equally into both hips. Come up out of your belly, come up into your heart, come from your heart into your hands, broaden the chest. And center. And then just find a simple cross-legged seat and notice what you may have made. That there is a quiet. As we build asana, asana is building our seat. And as the hips release, the navel can rise. Send the tail back so slightly, the heart up so slightly, the chin in so slightly. And keeping that, we'll sweep side to side. Right hand down, left hand up, over. Left hand down, right hand up, over. Good. So finding the hips are equal. You're using the reach of the arms to open through the outer hip, the outer shoulder. Keeping it simple. Good. Turn your chin to your armpit. Go 3. 2. Taking that twist just a little higher up into the heart, into the neck, into the point of your chin. And sit up tall. Notice the chest, the throat, the face, the head. So when we can begin to perceive a change in sensation, that the sensation of our stillness is getting brighter, we know there's been an opening from the hips, through the navel, through the heart, through the throat. So we can now turn upside down and drain the energy of the body, reversing its systems. Unfold your blanket. And as you unfold, the blanket has a folded end and an open end. And the folded end goes towards the top of your mat, and the open end goes towards the bottom of your mat. Get your blocks, and put them on either side. When you lie back, the tops of your shoulders are about an inch inside the fold. So you're on the blanket, and you're making sure that the fold of the blanket will stay under your shoulders. You bring your elbows down. Pause a beat. Let your chest be broad. Let your heart come up. Lengthen the back of your neck. I'm going to set up the most modified just in case. If you need to, lift your hips. Put a block underneath the back of your low back. And bring your knees up over your hips. Just lift your feet off the floor and lift your heels to float. You can hold the backs of your thighs with your hands or rest your elbows on the floor. And this is a fantastic shoulder stand if you lift your heart. Tuck a shoulder, tuck another. So there's a difference. We're not rounded. There's a lift to the heart. There's a settling of the low back into the block. So this might be a perfect place to stay. If this is too much, you can put a strap around the backs of your legs. Hold on there. And the strap will keep your legs from falling down. Keep your heart up high. If you don't want that modification, you want a full shoulder stand, lift your hips, remove the block. Press your elbows down, lift your hips, and land your hips in your hands. And just check that the shoulders are still on the blanket. Tuck a shoulder, tuck another, so that it's as though you're walking the shoulder blades toward the spine. Knees may be bent and hands can rest on the back edge of your pelvis and just float. Knees turn in, heels turn out. Deepen your breathing to 4 counts in and 4 counts out. See if you can bring your breath through the backs of your lungs, widening the waist. Can you bring your breath in contact with the mat between your shoulders? And can you bring your breath all the way to the tops of your lungs that come above your collarbones? So this is one option. Or lift your hips a little higher by pressing your elbows down. Bend your right knee towards your right shoulder. Press your left heel high. And straighten your right leg as you can. The right toe might find the floor or not. Reach into your feet. Bend your right knee. Press your right foot up as you bend your left knee down. Straightening the left leg. Maybe the toe taps the floor, maybe not. Bend your left knee. Change legs. Right knee down. Press the left up. Straighten your right leg. Bend your right knee. Change. It's fluid. Left leg straight. Left knee bends. Change. Hips higher. Walk your hands up your body. Right. Bend. Change. Left. Bend. Stay.
Turn your knees in, your heels out, a little bend in the knees, a little space in the toes, roll your ankles. Reverse the roll. See which one won't go, which ankle is just completely befuddled by what you're asking. And again, reach the right heel high, and then the left heel high, and then the right heel high, and then the left heel high. Good. Drop both knees, round your back, soften, lengthen, and roll your hips to the floor. If you're on the block for the modification, put your feet down, lift up, move the block out of the way, and we all meet, feet on the floor. Pause, hands on thighs, press away. We invert the body. We turn ourselves upside down. We change perspective. Come to neutral. Come between right side up and upside down. Finding neutral, we have all possible options. Roll up just enough to move your blanket aside and then roll back down to this position. Bring your blocks as you come back. Feet flat, hips up. Putting the blocks on their side. Bring their bellies together underneath you. Let your heels be wide and your knees fall in the way we just did in your shoulder stand. Let your knees move a little side to side. Feeling any tension through the front of the pelvis, just sort of easing that out one side at a time. You're welcome to work here or hold the outside edges of your mat to help tuck the shoulders under, or your hands go overhead and you hold an opposite elbow and you drop the forearms to the floor and you let the heart rise up towards the collarbones. You allow the space between your pubic bone and your belly button to grow long. The breath becomes long and smooth. You use the inhale into the space of the navel, lengthening the abdomen, lifting the heart all the way to the collarbones. And the tension is released on the exhalation, the shoulders becoming supple, the spine becoming long and soft. Bring your elbows down beside your ribs, plant your elbows, stand in your heels, and just momentarily lift your hips up. Coming off the block, tuck a shoulder, tuck another. Lift your left hip, and then drop down a little as though to tap the blocks. Lift your right hip, standing in your right heel. To tap the blocks, come down. Left hip up, and tap down. Right hip up. That same move we made standing at the beginning of class. Left hip forward, right hip forward, shoulders down. Feel it all. Stand in your feet. Feel the length from the thighs through the pelvis to the ribs. Remove the blocks and roll all the way down. Tail is last. Heels wide, knees turn in. Notice. Cross your left ankle over your right knee. Walk your right foot to the center line. And you'll keep a block in your right hand.
Let your whole right thigh fall to the right and bring the left foot with it, dropping the left foot flat to the floor. There's a twist. And take the block and place the tail end into your left inner thigh and your right elbow to the floor and your left arm wide. Keep the left foot heavy and the whole foot flat to the floor. Heel, outer edge, base of the little toe, base of the big toe. You're on the outer edge of your right foot at the center line of your mat. And your breath is long and smooth, and you're bringing it into your left hip. On your inhale, imagine that you could inflate your left hip, making space and space and space. And on the exhale, you could release tension out the left hand. So inhale light into the left hip. Exhale that light out through the left hand. And as you bring the light into your hip, you're bringing with it intelligence to help meet what is unfinished in the hips. And on the breath out, you are surrendering to a quality of trust. Here, take this breath, take this tension, take this disorder. I'm done with it. The inhale, you're bringing in, you're encouraging an invitation of light and order. And on the breath out, you're softening the left hip, the left thigh, the left shoulder, the left hand. And that which is unfinished is met and released. Left foot is flat to the floor. If you need to, tap it out. If it gets sticky or too overwhelming, tap your left foot to the floor. Keep inviting light, keep inviting space into and around the left hip, the left waist, the left low back, the left inner thigh. You're flooding the left side of the low body with light. And then you're emptying through the left shoulder, left hand. One more. Don't uncross as you return to center. So the block comes down. Raise your right thigh. Now left hand to left thigh, lightly press away. And let the hips move a little side to side. Good. As you release your ankle, make a soft circle with your left knee, extending and bending your left knee as you need to. Just any tension, any action that's caught, that was a big move. Just circling. If tomorrow you feel tension in this area, this is the move that will be most helpful. You can reverse the direction of your circle. Straightening and bending your knee as your body requires. Good. Good. And then left foot flat, noticing left side, noticing right. Feel the possibility of breath in the left side body versus the right. For me, it's as though a room in my house has been put to order. The floor swept, the surface is cleared, the things put away. So there's more space for light, more invitation. Wag your tail, shake it out. Cross your right over your left. Walk your left foot towards center. You can lift your hips and shift to the right if you need to, and drop your right foot flat to the floor. The block in your left hand, holding it at its tail, at its end. You place the other end into the right thigh. And with the left elbow on the floor, you can prop the right thigh away. And for me, this side is much tighter. So I have to meet it differently. Bring your awareness to the center of your right heel, your right outer foot, the right base of the pinky toe, and the base of the big toe. Hi, Pook. Yeah, go be with Lori. As your body settles, make any adjustments and place your right hand wide out to the right. The back of your right hand to the floor, the back of the right shoulder falling down. Bring your breath into the right hip. Bring a sensation of spaciousness, of light. Bring an invitation of release and change. Breathing in, we nourish that space of holding. Breathing out, let all of it pass through the hip, through the shoulder, through the hand. Begin to feel the current, the momentum, breathing into the right hip, filling it with light, breathing that light back out through the shoulder, elbow, and hand. Creating a momentum through the body, directing the energy, giving it order. Keep softening on the exhalation, softening the hold of the right hip. Softening the hold of the right shoulder, the right side jaw. Micro adjustments as you need to make space. The tighter it is, the more breath in you may require. You may need to hold the breath in a beat, as though stretching from inside. What happens if you soften the skin around your eyes? The mouth corners rise and the lips soften. The face opens into an aspect of beauty. And you draw that beauty in to the hip. Meeting all that you find, all the resistance, all the assistance, meet it with that sublime quiet and beauty in your face. Bring that down into the hip. One more. Keep loosening, keep dropping the shoulder, opening through the elbow and the finger. Right hand comes down. Left hand removes the block. Roll yourself back up to neutral. Ho! Put your hips square in the center. Right hand to right thigh, press away. And with that pressure, you're squaring right hip in line with left hip. Putting the right foot flat, hands on both thighs to press away. Bend your knees, bring your hands to your shins. Shake out your feet, which will serve to shake out the low back. So you're shaking one foot and then the other as though you were swimming. Keep the left hand where it is, right hand overhead, right heel out long. And right hand to shin, bring it in. Hold it close. Left hand long, left hand overhead, open it up. Left hand to shin, bring it close. And alternating right side to center, to left side. Go slowly enough that you can notice the changes you've made. There may be tenderness across the low back. And as you move, just massaging one side and then the other. Rinsing out tension, strengthening the navel. You may find that you can begin to quicken your rhythm, strengthening the navel. Work here, or if you choose, lift your head and shoulders so that there's even more of an anchor behind the navel and even more of a rinse of the low back. 3, 2, 1. Excellent. Feet flat. Lift your right heel to the ceiling. Interlace your fingers behind the right thigh, sliding down behind the right thigh as far as you can. Sit in the clasp of your hands and press your right heel to the ceiling. Press your right hip into your hands and straighten your left leg long. So left thigh to the floor, right heel high. The temptation here is to buck your chin up toward the ceiling and instead press the back of your head long away from your heart. So the back of the head reaches away from the back of the heart, and the back of your left heel reaches away from the back of the heart. And with this, you realign. Find the inner heels, press. Find the base of your big toes, press. Find the base of your little toes, press. Sit your hip into your hands to lengthen the sides of your neck and open the central channel of your spine. Bend your left knee, bend your right knee, free your hands, turn your palms open and notice the space through the throat and the face and the head. Because ultimately this was the space we were looking to serve today. Left heel to the ceiling. Interlace your fingers behind the left thigh. Slide the hands lower down around the left outer hip as low as you can. Sit into your hands. Sit into that little hammock. Reach into the left heel. Open your elbows. Draw your shoulders down. Straighten your right leg. Right thigh is heavy. We're stabilizing ourselves back into an alignment that serves us. Notice if your chin has bucked up, and instead drawing the chin in, press the back of the head away from the back of the heart. To help with this, stand in the right heel. So the back of your heel reaching away from the back of the heart. Press into the left heel. Firm your body so that you are concluding with a new purpose, a new sense that this is my truth. Base of the big toe, base of the little toe, center of the heels, feet are strong, legs are strong, arms are long, back of the neck is long. Bend your left knee, bend your right, release your hands, turn your palms open. Knees are bent, feet flat, pause right there. Notice across the hands, the arms, the throat, the shoulders, the mouth, the ear canals.
Any tension, any tenderness in your low back that remains, keep your knees bent. Explore walking your legs out as you're ready, keeping this great, quiet grace that you've made. And just fall into its quiet, into its order. Keep allowing the body to reposition itself. It's not an external fidgeting, it's an internal rearrangement. As though the body itself is deciding where the heart should sit. As though hanging art on the wall and adjusting one corner and then another. The hips adjusting, coming square. Trust the inner intelligence that you've accessed and let it rearrange you. Be reordered. So there's an inner softening. When it wants to float, let it float. When it wants to shift, let it shift. If the breath wants to be bigger or fuller in any aspect, let it happen. Be rearranged.
Beginning to deepen your breathing, take your hands overhead. Let the feet move side to side and the knees move up and down. A little wag of the tail. Walking your feet in. Hands to shins. A little bit side to side. And as you're ready, making your way to an upright seat. Moving side to side before you finish, one hand down, up and over. And changing sides. Notice your pace may be different now. And hold opposite elbows at the top. And breathe up into the points of your elbows and just give it a little bit of a shimmy and up. Lightly pressing the arm bones wide into the hands. And the hands lightly drawing the arms in. Bring your hands high, palms together, and right down the middle. This will be our exhale, our sound, our om. And then sweep your hands wide up. We'll go 3 times, palms together. Om. Inhale. One more. Thumbs to the forehead center. Om Shanti Shanti. Peace, peace, perfect peace. Namaste. So last week and the week before that we had these big front body turns where we were holding the bind and rinsing across the chest, opening through the collarbones, a lot of external adjustment. And this was very internal. This started in the inner lining of your hip sockets and came up through there. And so take your time. It's so useful in this moment that we can replay things, that I will get deep into a practice and it's too much for me, and I'll need to stop, and then I'll come back and I'll replay that practice with a teacher, and then I can get, okay, now I've made some space, I've cut some trail, I can go a little further. So don't be disheartened. This is really enormous where we went today. The inner aspects are often a little more unfamiliar than the outer body. We know how to ring ourselves around, we know how to really sort of find the outer juice, but it's that inner, I've never even moved here before. Those cross-legged circles, it's just like someone's put your couch in your bedroom and then moved it all around. So take your time tomorrow if you need to. You're making circles, lying on your back, circling your knee, circling your hip. But just the more you can get unstuck from that base, the more space you'll have here. They are very connected, and this is the space of our truth and our words. So I'll be back tomorrow morning for our last Sunday of Kundalini. So the sequence day 39 will be tomorrow morning, and day 40 will be Tuesday. And then the rest of the week, we will have a pause from that sequence. Next Saturday, we're just going to have a total pleasure ride of a fun vinyasa to clear the path. And then on Sunday, we'll start asana, the space of the third eye. So if you're new to this, we've been making our way up and through the body. Join in. Starting next Sunday, we'll be right here. 40 days later, we'll be at the crown of the head. You can replay anything along the way or just jump in wherever you are. We'll see you soon. Sat Nam.